welcome into Sports Nation live from Chicago, AEW commentator and in-ring performer Paul Wight. Paul, thank you so much for being with us here.
Hey, good morning, and thank you guys very much for having me.
Oh my gosh, Paul, as we just saw on Wednesday, you announced you'll be making your long-awaited return to the ring at the All Out pay-per-view on September 5th, but you've had 5 hip operations in the past 18 months. How ready do you feel to get back in the ring and do your thing?
It's always tough for an athlete. Anytime an athlete goes through a major surgery, there's always that lingering doubt. Am I as good as I was before? Will everything hold up? Confidence-wise, I feel fantastic with it. Physically, I'm above board. I do a lot of biking, so at home, I'm probably biking 10 to 12 miles outside every day. And usually on the weekends, I go for 25. So I think I'll be okay.
Paul, first of all, great to see you again. We both worked together once upon a time. We both left our Canadian tuxedos at home for this interview.
Hey, that's the greatest look in the world for a big guy is a Canadian tuxedo. It says class, but I'm not afraid to work hard and get my hands dirty. So there you go.
I love it. Exactly. Speaking of working hard, I mean, it is an excellent time to be a fan of pro wrestling sports entertainment, right? Like in 2021, you've lived through 2 incredible eras of pro wrestling. In the Attitude Era in the 90s, you were a pivotal part of that. Now you find yourself seeing a very similar situation with 2 solid companies leading the charge of this resurgence of pro wrestling. I'd love to hear from you as someone who lived both of them, who worked in the industry. What similarities and differences do you find between the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars of the 90s and what we're seeing now with AEW and WWE leading the way?
Well, the biggest thing, the comparison is there's just alternatives for fans now. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan, depending on what kind of product you enjoy watching. I mean, the biggest difference between WWE and AEW that I can tell in changeover is just the difference in authenticity. We're AEW's the smaller, newer, new kid on the block, and the talent. When a guy has a promo or a gal has a promo, that's them. There's not a backstage of 35 or 40 writers handing you a piece of paper that you have to struggle to memorize. So the performances are a lot more authentic and it's more wrestling oriented. So I think that alternative product is what a lot of fans are getting excited about now. So, still, it's always competition. It's great to have competition. It's great to motivate the locker room. The best thing is with 2 big companies working hard and providing opportunities for wrestlers to work. Because if there's only one company, there's only one place to work, and the diversity isn't as prevalent as it is now with multiple companies and a chance for talent to grow and to discover who they are and make a connection with the audience.
And connection is huge in everything, especially in this. Now, Paul, I have to ask you about someone you know very well, the icon Sting, who's still wrestling at 62 years young. Just how inspirational has been watching him prove to everyone he's still got it.
Still got it. I mean, Sting and Steve Borden is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in professional wrestling. But just to know his athleticism and for me, when I started my career in '95 in WCW, he was a franchise for World Championship Wrestling and had multiple championships by then and was a huge fan favorite. And then how he's adapted his career and still at 62 years old to go out and compete like he does, it just shows his commitment to taking care of himself and living a good life. So I love to see Sting out there. He's a great person. He's a great influence for the talent in the locker room. And I look forward, hopefully, someday to working with him again. That would be ideal. Get a chance to work with him again.
So AEW Rampage, the first dance, is tonight at 10 a.m., live from the United Center in Chicago. You and I both know, Paul, that somehow pro wrestling is a very low rumor industry. We never see anything online. There are never any speculation on anything.
Never!
Never!
Never! I mean, no, it is almost impossible to get any backstage scuttlebutt in professional wrestling. I mean, it's... in all seriousness, no, tonight is the night on Rampage where in the future people are going to say, hey, do you remember when? I mean, we're in Chicago, United Center sold out. There's a lot of rumors going around. There's a lot of scuttlebutt. There's an opportunity tonight for someone to make an appearance on Rampage here in AEW that will literally knock the wrestling world on its keister. This is one of the biggest, I think, anticipated events that I can remember in a long time. I mean, I was trying to think about it today. Like, what does it compare to? Did it compare to Hulk Hogan going to WCW? Does it compare to, the NWO? I mean, what is Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the glass breaking with Austin 316? What kind of an impact, if the rumors are true, will this have on the wrestling business? Because I can neither confirm nor deny, but what kind of an impact tonight's Rampage will have on the wrestling industry for the future?
Paul, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. And we want to remind everyone at home that you can watch Paul on commentary for AEW Elevation every Monday and watch Paul's AEW in-ring debut on Sunday, September 5th on pay-per-view. And of course, do not forget a new Rampage tonight at 10 Eastern. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Hey, thank you guys very, very much for the time. Good seeing you. Remember, when in doubt, a Canadian tuxedo is always appropriate dinnerware.
Yes.
Always.